I don't know
Oh,
if it's specifically frogs.
okay, it's true that animals
Yeah,
can
there
see
are
more of the
certain
electromagnetic spectrum than humans.
Yeah, there are certain animals that do. Or,
I mean, I can look it up which animals do.
yeah.
I keep saying something. Or what? Or you were saying something about how humans, the more we've developed, or you're saying that it's
Like
seeing less of the electromagnetic spectrum is best for survival.
Because you were wondering if, why is it that we only see such a small portion of the spectrum, and then maybe it's beneficial to us because evolution has brought us here, and we only see a certain amount.
Yeah, butterflies and reindeer can see different, or they have the widest visual range of any animal.
Okay, but what does that actually mean? Or what would it be like if we could see what they could see?
We don't know. We can't perceive it. That's it. That's the entire point.
Oh.
Yeah, so like if we have computers, we can detect it through that. But then when we're seeing what the computer is seeing, it's
what we're seeing.
Yeah, no, yeah. The computer transfers it
Oh,
into
yeah,
visible
yeah.
light,
Yeah.
so we can imagine it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I've seen a lot of religious people say you could see like angels and stuff, or they're just always around. Like, you just
But
can't see them
they're on
typically.
different.
Yeah, wavelength.
But then computers would detect that, so.
Yeah, no, but how would computers know what to detect? It's not like we have a set program that says this is what an angel would be like, because we don't know.
Oh, true. So you're saying that like computers have detected angels, possibly.
Yeah,
but we just don't know what the shape. Okay. Yeah, I can.
It could be a thing.
Could be.
Do we have a set range, or do we know all the different types of, or wavelengths that, or?
I thought there was a finite amount, but he was saying it's infinite.
Yeah, it's infinite, but there's like a concentration at a certain wavelength. So like most wavelengths exist in this like area, and then like the further out you go or the shorter you go, it's less common to see radiation.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
Where's this episode going?
I feel like we could pull a really interesting episode with this topic if we had like an hour of research.
Yeah. I don't.
So we'll save it for later. Let's shelf this.
Yeah. It's a good idea.
You know, I heard, speaking of wavelengths, actually, I heard that, or not I heard, but you sent me the thing of how there's different wavelengths based off the type of clothes that you're wearing or the material of clothes you're wearing. I don't know. I don't think it has anything to do with the electromagnetic spectrum.
Oh, yeah, that's not electromagnetic. But they're saying...
What frequency is it?
I have no idea.
Or how is that measured?
I don't know, but they were just saying that organic materials have higher frequency. But that's what when they're talking...
Yeah, but specifically it was linen and wool. Organic linen and wool have a higher frequency than organic cotton.
Oh, okay.
And then that has a higher frequency than polyester.
Yeah, and synthetic materials. But vibration of a clothing or a fabric, is that when you... what does that even mean?
I don't know. Okay, I'm saying in practical real world, like a real world thing that I've noticed based off of that. Even my dad was saying this. But whenever you wear something like linen or some business casual outfit or like a suit or something, you just feel different.
Yeah, you do. But what vibration is that?
I don't know.
Should look it up.
Yeah, but is there that much concrete research on it?
I don't know.
Vibration of
So
clothing?
you're saying clothes vibrate at a different wavelength?
Yeah, different types of fabric.
Different types of fabric has a different type of wavelength. Vibrational frequency of clothing is important for help. Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, linen and wool rock the Casbah. Dr. Yellen's studies have showed that linen and wool both had a frequency of 5,000. That's a whole lot of frequency boosting power. Strangely, when a body wore both linen and wool at the same time, the frequency went to 0. Well, how is this frequency measured?
Oh, but you know, something that they say is you can't mix, or in Judaism, you're not allowed to wear two, I think it might be linen and wool, but you're not allowed to wear two fabrics interwoven together. It has to be one. There's a historical or story side of it too, but, you know, that's kind of cool, right?
Yeah, I mean,
they
they
can't
probably...
allow.
Yeah. Yeah, linen, wool, cashmere, hemp, organic cotton, or leather have the highest. And the lowest are... I can't even read that because it's covered by the TikTok sign. But bamboo, silk, polyester, nylon, viscose, acrylic, and anything static resistant. Silk is interesting.
Static resistant? Oh.
So that wavelength of your clothing vibrating is somehow like affecting people's moods and like their actions. Is that
I don't know. Maybe it's like a form of energy.
you think? I don't know, cause like in nature everything is vibrating, so you can't really say that specific clothing vibrating is like
Yeah, but
different
it's the
from
frequency of vibration, right? So
Sure.
maybe you can say if something vibrates at a higher frequency, it's just better.
This is like what you were saying about music too. Or
Yeah.
you're saying that.
Okay, this I actually got from Kanye.
Okay.
So I saw this Kanye thing, and remember the Travis Scott concert where 8 people died or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was saying that the 808s that they use in rap have a really low frequency, and it instills really bad moods in people.
From the guy who made an 808s album.
Yeah. I mean, he still makes 808 albums. I don't think he cares, but that's what he's saying.
Okay.
He's saying, like, or the thing that I brought up was, Andre 3000's Flute album?
Uh-huh.
It's an album where he just doesn't sing anything at all. It's just completely flute
Mm-hmm.
for, like, an hour and 30 minutes straight.
But it's
just
super
flute
high
music.
vibration.
Yeah, yeah. And he's saying that the 808s in most rap it just has a really low vibration, and it instills like a rage mood in people.
Okay,
But
but
he's saying that inspired the people trampling over each other and killing each other and stuff.
music affecting people is like
It's a thing. Yeah,
it's a
music
thing.
music
That's a
100%
thing.
No,
affects
that's
people.
100%
Yeah.
true. But like, I don't think that's what engendered the situation of people trampling. I mean,
yeah, it can't
everyone
be the
was-
sole cause.
yeah, everyone.
I don't know. That's what he's saying. He's saying that's more of a fault than Travis.
Well, yeah.
Or
Well,
Travis
okay. But Travis, that maybe he's making the argument that Travis didn't have that much of a role in that.
Yeah,
'Cause-
which is also true.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
just
yeah.
did not have that
I
much
think
of
it's a
role in that.
venue, right?
Yeah.
The security and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The
But
security
no,
was.
but he's saying what caused the people to do that in the first place.
Yeah.
Or he's because people won't do that normally. It's not like people are gonna trample over each other.
Where was
Well,
the
if
concert
it's
again?
like life ththreatening, because like everyone's doing it, so
Yeah.
I guess you have to.
Yeah, but
It
how did
maybe
how did
it
pick
played
up
a
the-
role in it,
yeah,
but it wasn't the
yeah,
sole
yeah.
cause. Yeah. I could believe
I can
that.
believe that too.
Yeah.
I feel like the thing when we were looking into frequency and stuff a lot recently, I feel like that could also, or that's just like a thing.
Yeah.
Because
What-
maybe, I mean, for example, I'm sure you guys feel it as well. Like I feel better when I go into nature, when I'm just outside.
So you think the like part of the reason is frequency, not that it's just like better, like.
Yeah, but what determines how it's better? I feel like frequency plays a big part in that, especially if you're looking at clothing and the effect it has on people's moods. Even my dad was saying that when he's working from home, it's important to wear
Yeah, you said
other.
that.
Yeah, but I didn't explain.
Oh,
completely.
okay.
But I mean, I kind of did, but not really. He's saying when working from home, it's important to wear professional attire because it puts you in the mood more.
I think that's definitely true. Like,
That's true.
there's probably studies done on that. Like, getting in those clothes puts you in that mindset. So like, it's differing from like your home environment. It's like a lot of research has shown like you don't want to study in your bedroom because that's where you sleep. You want to go somewhere else, like a library or
I
something.
feel like a lot of the stuff that we talk about energy and people's moods that gets really murky because we can figure out how it affects the body through something like dopamine release, but there's no actual study of the consciousness. Like we don't have any consciousness
Oh,
is not a
like you're
scientific
saying
thing.
if you're looking at that work clothes thing, like why does it do that?
Yeah, there's just no.
There's
way
no-
to
Wait,
explain it.
so
we can observe why it happens.
I recently like read something and then it was like supposed to make people feel better. It's if you're angry at someone, just remember it's chemical signals within your brain. So do you think consciousness can be like boiled down to just chemical signals?
Okay,
or-
we talked about this in a
that-
previous
oh,
episode
you
as well,
did?
but I mean, the modern science approach is that there's chemicals in your brain and your body that generate consciousness, but I think it's the other way around. I think that what your consciousness or your mood feels, that's what dictates how your body reacts.
Okay, but if we go back to the clothing example, when you're dressed in professional clothes and you're in the mood to work, what chemical is that? What chemical is that?
Well,
It's
For
something.
that,
It's
like-
like dopamine release. That's just what makes you feel good.
I don't think it's frequency. I think it's more like placebo. And this is like
Yeah,
a
but what is
thorough-
placebo?
Yeah, that's what I'm
It's
saying.
when you believe an effect is real.
Yeah,
and
but
it-
that is a conscious thing, right? What do you mean when you
like
believe?
what do you mean?
determines that?
Okay, so there's this actual study. This is completely real. People under coma, and then they like receive IVs, and then they put placebo. So this IV, the fluids that they're getting, should not do anything to the body. But then the placebo was like the same as like a morphine or something like a depressant. It was supposed to make the body like go slower, heartbeat slower, everything. And then the placebo worked. So the person is unconscious, but their body is still reacting to the placebo as if it was a real medicine.
Yeah, but
So
But you're saying they gave them a depressant, but it worked the opposite.
no, like, so the patient under recovery is supposed to be receiving this depressant, and then instead of the depressant, they substitute it with
Like nothing.
nothing, and then the body still
Yeah,
reacts.
I think that even further adds to the thing where I was saying that consciousness dictates a lot of like what it is.
But the person's
a lot of how
unconscious.
your body reacts.
the person's unconscious, he's saying.
Yeah, but you can. I mean, there are a lot of people in our unconsciousness remember stuff.
From what? From like,
It's just perception. Like the body's still working.
Sci-
They're parts of the body aren't working.
unconscious people can remember things.
Yeah,
So,
I'm pretty. Let me
like,
look it
you
up.
think things we've experienced unconsciously have an effect on like
It's
our
just
actions?
subconscious. I'd say, like your working consciousness
Oh.
is shut off, but your subconscious is still active.
What even is subconscious?
I have no.
Oh,
We don't know what it is.
actually?
Yeah.
But we know it exists.
Yeah.
We have a term for it.
Dreaming is your subconscious.
Yeah.
We talked about this as well.
Dreaming, there's definitely a chemical explanation.
I mean, there could be, but
There is. It's like rapid eye movement during
Yeah.
your sleep.
yeah,
and
but
then
rapid
that-
eye movement. How can you project some images in your brain?
I think there's like actual studies.
I don't
on
think
it.
there
It's-
is.
You
Can
don't?
unconscious
Like,
people
dreaming,
understand?
I think, can be 100% explained through chemical.
That's what I thought as
So-
well.
And I think I also believe in the fact that
Yeah.
consciousness is
Okay,
dictated
well,
by
This
chemical
thing
reactions.
says that 25% of all unconscious patients can hear, understand, and emotionally respond to what's happening in their external environment.
Mm.
I feel like that could generally explain it. If they do a conducted study across multiple people, that eliminates the chance for randomness.
Mm-hmm.
So
What-
some of those people could be the people that can understand. They know that they're going to take some, or they're subconsciously understanding that they can take a placebo.
What does
or whatever.
unconscious mean? Scientifically, I mean. Okay, because my thinking is, you're saying 25, they can hear 25% of whatever, or they're, but what does that even mean if they're not conscious?
It's just saying, okay, it has nothing to do with consciousness at all. It's just saying unconsciousness is when a person is unable to respond to people and activities. But they can
Oh,
still
okay.
perceive people and activities. They just can't respond to it. Or at least that's
So
what I think.
under that definition, like a paraplegic would be unconscious because he can't respond.
Right?
All right, a paralyzed person.
Maybe. I don't think so.
The definitions are just so bad.
That's a bad definition.
Yeah.
Someone who can't move or speak would be unconscious by that. Or I
Yeah.
guess he could blink or something to get
Yeah,
a response.
yeah.
So
Here, okay, let me go in order.
I just
Look up
don't
what
even get what
is-
conscious means. It's just like a concept that we're not even.
Okay, subconscious is concerning. It's a part of the mind of which one is not fully aware, but it influences one's actions and feelings.
Okay. So.
Like habits, for example, get ingrained into your subconscious the more you do them.
Yeah, but there's
Like, okay,
there's
let
an
me-
area in your brain that's associated with that, though, right? A specific area in your brain. Like we can pinpoint that to a specific area in your brain. Okay, so
Yeah,
so
you
then
can.
what? So consciousness is
Or
just
it's just saying it may. There's research that suggests that this may. There's no concrete evidence of anything.
okay. So consciousness is just the brain activity you're aware of.
No, it's consciousness is the brain activity you're aware of, like what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
Or like you're alive right now. That's consciousness.
Okay, so if you're not conscious, what does that? What's the definition of unconscious?
I mean, the definition is what I read too.
Okay, but that
But
doesn't make
what
sense.
is the definition?
I think it's a good
of
definition, actually.
Unconscious.
because like even if you're paralyzed,
we
you
have
can still
such a
respond in some aspects.
It's true, yeah. Like you can move your fingers.
Only
or
people who
something.
can't or like asleep can't respond.
Yeah. Or it's,
So
it's
a
saying
good
that
definition.
there's a.
So if you're unconscious, you're not aware of any brain activity. That's what it means. Can we say that?
You're not aware.
You're not aware of it because we said if you're conscious, you're aware of the brain activity that's going
Well,
on.
it's saying all these things are saying temporarily devoid of consciousness. Well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
It's just a terrible definition.
Yeah.
Cambridge English Dictionary, bro. What are they doing?
I don't know.
in the state of not being awake and not aware of things around you. But I mean, how do we know?
Yeah.
It's so dumb. All right.
Yeah. Okay, but you were saying that you believe that consciousness is generated by
Yeah,
chemicals.
yeah.
Okay.
But I feel like there's no evidence that proves that.
I feel like everything we're going towards as like researching science, like with your brain.
Yeah, but I think that's a wrong approach. We haven't discovered anything. And you know the quantum physics thing is saying the otherwise. Like
What do you mean?
The particle study.
What particle study?
Okay. I don't know how I could I'll try to connect this back, but
Okay.
they conducted the study a while ago, but they reconducted it recently, where I don't know if I'm getting the specifics right, so bear with me.
Okay.
But the thing is, they put light through like 2 slits, and
Okay,
when they
yeah.
observed the photons of a light, the pattern that it created was on. So they put it through this thing.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah. So there was like a wall or some surface, and they put it through the slit. There's 2 slits.
2 slits.
And in the first slit they measured the photons, and it made a different pattern on the wall. But when they measured light as waves in the second slit, and that also made a different pattern.
Okay. So.
No, the double slit experiment is that like typically if we thought light as photons, what would happen is if we shine light through that, we would see 2 slits on the wall.
Yeah.
And that would be if light was a particle. But what we actually observe is that there are there's a single bright area and then there are multiple bright areas going out.
Yeah.
And that's evidence of light acting as a wave because the diffusion or the 2 slits make the light diffuse and then they each act like wave fronts. That's the science behind that. But
okay, yeah. This is not relevant, but when was this?
it's like 1900.
Okay, they did this. They did it once in 1814 or something, and then they just kept doing it. And then the most recent one was done in like 2012 with the most advanced technology. Okay, so what does a double slit experiment tell us about consciousness? It can exist separately from matter, because consciousness shown to have a physical effect in the collapse of the de Broglie wave function. Okay.
De Broglie?
No,
it is
It's like
de
de Broglie
Yeah,
wave
it's
function
de
of a
Broglie,
traveling
yeah.
particle. Was it De Broglie?
Yeah.
I thought you were saying De Bruyne, like a soccer player.
No, De Broglie proved that everything has a wavelength. So like, it's, yeah.
So that's what we were saying. We were saying clothing has a wavelength and stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, but
Okay, it's saying that consciousness is otherwise physically imperceptible. This is best shown in Young's double slit experiment.
why? What does that have to do with consciousness?
Let's read the whole thing. But I don't know, talk about something meanwhile.
Maybe, okay, so double slit experiment also like describes the uncertainty principle. Like as you narrow or like make the slits like smaller, I think, you get a more diffuse pattern. So you get less certainty of the location, and like the more you know about the location of the the light, you know less about its like movement. So it becomes more diffuse.
Okay.
So I guess like maybe if you connect that back to consciousness is that you can't exactly measure each particle in your brain because there's uncertainty involved with that. So
Maybe.
so you can't
Okay.
understand everything at the particulate level.
Is that what the article's saying?
The article, it's locked. You have to make an account.
Come on.
But
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree.
Okay, that's exactly what it's saying, because it's saying consciousness is physically imperceptible, meaning that we can't perceive all the particles.
But I
Because-
think like we can research it still. Like I don't think we should go with the approach of consciousness is feeding into all these chemical reactions, but I think we can look at the brain and describe certain parts of consciousness, even if it's not every single part, because there is uncertainty.
Yeah. Like we
Yep.
can try to understand more and more.
Yeah, sure, but I feel like it's a reactive thing. Like your brain functions off of consciousness. Like if, I don't know, you feel sad for whatever reason, like you
Mhm.
got a hate comment or something, and you feel sad, and then I feel like the chemical reactions in your body are as a result of that,
Okay.
not the other way around. Because
Okay.
what perceives it, or what perceives how you feel about a certain topic?
Yourself. Right?
Yeah, but what about yourself?
Like you can measure specific heart rate. You can
Yeah,
measure
but I'm saying that all comes as a
perspiration.
result of you perceiving that, or like you your consciousness feels sad about something and your body reacts.
I mean, there are different theories on how emotions work. It's like the three main ones is Cannon-Bard, James Lange, and two-factor. And then I think you're talking about Cannon-Bard, where consciousness is what's directing our bodily response.
What are the other two?
One is that you have to consciously appraise like your situation. So for example, if you're nervous, like you get high heart rate, your skin starts to perspire, your eyes dilate. So for example, in two instances, one is you're on a roller coaster, that's why you're nervous. So you're consciously appraising that you're nervous and that you're not scared because it's a roller coaster and you're excited. You're perceiving your heart rate going up as excitement. But if it's like the middle of the night in like a lonely road, then you might perceive that as fear. And
Oh, that's true as well, because I didn't connect it directly to this, but I heard about how the body responses for nervousness and excitement are the same. Or they're really similar.
So like the body response happens first.
that's like
There's, I
it
mean,
happens like you hear a loud noise,
Yeah.
and then you start like your heart rate goes up, and then you consciously appraise it as whatever the situation entails. That's like the most popular
Okay.
theory.
But then
but there could be a theory otherwise. Nothing is directly proven. We don't
yeah,
know.
I know, but when you are consciously appraising that feeling, what is that? What is like, you know?
He thinks that, or what he's saying is that it's just something in the brain based off past experiences or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah. Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is even if you're taking that theory, there's still a part that involves your conscious, right? Like that's not a chemical explanation for why
Yeah, but
emotions happen.
he's saying that consciousness can be trapped into specific parts of the brain, or you can explain
Yeah, I know.
consciousness through
You can.
Oh.
I believe you can.
Oh,
'Cause,
I mean, we haven't discovered it yet. But I
You don't
think
think? Because like
Bro, this is like
Okay.
what I wrote in my essay.
No.
Like
what?
Aristotle. He said he said
yeah,
he said
Shyam-
humans think beyond He said animals can't think beyond what they perceive, but humans can.
how can we prove that animals can't though? Like I just don't understand our entire approach when we deal with animals and establishing our superiority over them.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah,
in
we
we
talked
talked about this too. but
Wait,
that's
whale
also
The
true.
whale thing. Yeah, we're saying what if whales are actually like way smarter than humans or
No,
dolphins
no,
or
no.
something?
But me and Yoon Jae also talked about
Okay.
this one time, and then we were just saying like, how do we know there's not an
No,
animal?
because we've always I'm pretty sure we defined humans to be the smartest beings because we had the biggest brains, and then it was proven that elephants have like a lot bigger brains than us. Then we said, oh, we have the highest brain ratio like by mass to our body, and then ants have a way higher ratio. And then now we do it like we say certain things to always put ourselves above animals, but
Yeah. Do you remember what we ended up concluding after talking about that? I feel like we just talked about it for
Yeah.
a while.
What if animals communicate on a different wavelength? No, think about it.
and
think
we
about
can't hear it because it's
it. Yeah.
Okay, but then why where are their empires, bro? Where are their cities?
Yeah, I don't know. What if they just
Where
realized
are
it was
their
all? What if
cars?
they just realized it was all pointless?
Bro,
No, what if
it's the
dogs are
biggest
just like
what if ever.
no? But I mean, what if
No,
dogs
that's
are,
like one common like view that like why there aren't civilizations in the sky or like other aliens is because the best way to like survive is being docile because
That's true.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Like, what if dogs were just like
Cockroaches, bro. They've lived forever.
yeah, that's true.
Cockroaches.
But I was saying, what if dogs are just like, oh, these people are just, or these dumb people are just feeding us. Let's
Yeah,
just
no,
act-
'cause-
let's just bark whatever
no,
they want, or, like shake
No,
their hand.
It's like those Diary of a Wimpy Kid comments.
how evolution works is that the longer a species survives for is how successful you are as a species. And we define ourselves to be successful because we have cool buildings, we can make like electronics and stuff.
And that
go
makes
to
our
the
life
moon.
better. We
Or
think.
yeah, but we as a species have only existed for like I don't know, like maybe
200k years.
250,000.
yeah, that many years, while there are fish who have existed while dinosaurs were living.
Yeah.
So on an evolutionary perspective, they're more
More successful.
successful than we are.
Yeah.
But we defined ourselves to be better because we have this cool microphone we can build.
Yeah.
Or they're like, how did an ant never went to the moon?
Yeah,
You know, I feel like we came up with a reason though.
I think we did.
Yeah.
It was something.
Yeah. I don't
I don't
know.
know.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
That is an interesting discussion though, because just how would we know? Oh, hang on, I'm so quiet. That is an interesting discussion, because how do we know?
Yeah.
I
that
feel like
goes-
we can't. Oh, like what if every species thinks it's the most intelligent? Or what about dolphins, bro? Like, what if they're just like, we shouldn't mess with any of this? Or they just already know?
Well, what's up with dolphins again? Why are they smart supposedly?
They just have huge brains.
Oh. Okay.
The biggest brains, I'm pretty sure, is dolphins.
No, it's elephants or
Yeah.
blue
No,
whales.
no. Yeah, it's probably whales. Whales and dolphins
Because they're
are the
just
two
so
biggest.
big. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. How did we? Why did
No,
you say?
we were talking about how Rishi, like you believe that specific parts of the brain cannot be linked back to consciousness, and
Uh-huh.
I was arguing it can be
Yeah. Well,
I was arguing that the brain is a reaction of the
conscious.
consciousness. Yeah. Because we in all our science years we've never debunked consciousness. We don't know where it comes from, or we don't know the source or
Well,
anything.
we know that if, for example, like a patient has had this part of his brain removed, he can't speak or he can't like give coherent thoughts. So that's a part of consciousness that's removed, and if it's linked back to his brain being damaged, then we can say that that part of the brain is linked to this.
All right, this is a wild theory, but hear me out.
All
Or not. It's not really that wild. But what if his perception that parts of his brain is removed?
What if number 2 of the day?
Yeah, but still.
So you're
the
saying
reasoning isn't explained. I'm saying, what if the actual cause is that he perceived by his consciousness that parts of his brain are removed.
so that's why he.
Yeah.
So his consciousness, like, it doesn't matter, like, that specific brain part is dictating his consciousness. It's
Yeah.
rather that
It's his perception.
his perception of it. But then why would it be the same among, like, multiple patients? Like,
Because they all knew that they're getting part of their brain removed.
no, but if we attack this specific part, that affects the same patients or different patients the same way. So if your, like, explanation was right, it would be whatever perception this guy has of that part of his brain and whatever this different guy has of that specific part of the brain.
Yeah, but they would know, no? Because they would know that this part of the brain affects speech, or this part of the brain affects sight, or whatever.
Then you're legit proving your argument that,
How so?
like, you're saying that brain
Yeah, that's
regions go into consciousness rather
No,
than
but
the other way around.
sight and brain, or sight and speech and stuff.
Oh,
they're
like
bodily
the
functions.
brain serves the conscious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sight and speech. I'm not saying sight and speech are dictated, or they are bodily functions.
Okay.
I'm saying consciousness is like, like your physical self. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You're saying basically
Or
that
not your physical self.
that
Like so beyond your physical self.
you're basically saying they're aware that their brain exists, but it exists to serve their conscious.
Yeah.
Basically.
So this is kind of branching off, but it's kind of related.
Okay.
So, like, I think it's 20 years or something that we'll be able to connect or create all the neural connections in our brain and upload it to a computer. So do you think if we do that, I guess by your logic is that brain does not have a conscious?
We talked about this too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because-
on the AI episode.
Yeah.
We're saying, can an AI ever gain consciousness?
Because no, what we were talking about was exactly what I said to you. We are talking about the singularity, the point where
The machine does everything, or
the machine does everything because it starts to, I guess, think beyond what it can think. It can perceive more than what we can perceive
Mhm.
on as humans.
yeah.
So at that point, is that consciousness or not? It's just, or is it just thinking?
I don't know. I feel like
Then what if-
emotions also have a big way of how we understand consciousness. Like, I feel like there's never going to be a time where I tell a robot, "Oh, you suck," and it's going to respond. Its body's going to respond differently, unless it's programmed to do so.
So, like, what's your connection to, like, humans in that case? Like, how would
If I tell a
humans-
human you suck, they'll
Okay.
feel some sort of way.
But if a
That-
robot's programmed to, like, understand that, wouldn't it feel the same way?
Yeah, but there's just a lot of ways you could do it.
I think
There's
this,
just
like,
infinite ways.
this is also
you can
go-
affect someone's emotions.
I think this goes back to our, like, hubris of, like, people being people, saying that, oh, our consciousness is special. It's not.
That's what Sam Altman said. He said it takes a special kind of human arrogance to think that artificial intelligence will never become smarter than us.
Smarter than us and having consciousness is a different thing.
No, but I think us labeling that consciousness cannot be studied, cannot be like understood, is our arrogance.
It's like it's our cope.
Yeah, it's our.
I don't know if it's a cope. I just think it's the wrong approach. Or there's just no way for us to say this is this and this is that because we haven't done it.
Okay, but here's the question. This is what I was thinking. So let's say the robot begins to perceive more than what we can perceive. Like it starts.
How so?
Because here's what we said, right? So we defined 2 points in artificial intelligence. One is the super intelligence, in which it has the knowledge of every single human. So if we told that super intelligence create a $1 trillion company, it could, because it has the knowledge of every single human,
Mm-hmm.
right? It could do everything. It could do the marketing, the business, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right? But then the difference between that and the singularity is that singularity is it goes beyond human intelligence, meaning like let's say it could come up with a new theory. Like it could come up with a theory that we haven't come up with yet.
Yeah, so like what you're saying is someone can create a $1 trillion company, but at the point of the singularity, humans can't even do what the robots do.
Yeah. Like it could come up with it could come up with the next, I don't know, like law of relativity. Or theory of relativity.
This also has to do with that.
But then let's say it comes up with that the same way it's coming up with that, it's not programmed, right? Or is it programmed? Because what if it starts building things? Then what is that? Like it's still
it starts building things,
is it conscious?
like highways and stuff?
Yeah, like what if it just starts building, I don't know, because I'm saying it can think beyond what we want. Like it almost thinks beyond our needs. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not there to serve us. Like it starts doing things on its own. Or I don't know if you can even control it at that point. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if the singularity is something that can be controlled or not. Because even the idea that it can think beyond us, like let's say it invents its new, invents a new theory.
Okay.
Did we tell it to do that? Like, does it do that because we tell it to? But we can't tell it to. Because we don't know what it is. We can't tell it what to do. You know what? Do you get like what I'm trying to get at?
Kind of, but I don't know how you'd explain that because it's all how the neural networks connect. That's all of the programming behind.
But like
AI
that,
is.
you can argue that for us. It's how all.
But
the
we have
neurons
infinite
connect.
neural networks.
Do we?
Yeah.
No, we have a finite amount.
Do we?
Yeah.
I feel like we can just create.
We
more
have
and more.
a like propensity for infinite, but so do AI.
Do they though? Because we have to program them.
Isn't that what artificial intelligence is? It learns on its own, right?
Yeah.
It can create new neural networks.
Yeah.
Can it create new neural networks, or does it use its existing neural networks to
It
implement
uses,
new
like,
things?
I'm not sure about this, so
Okay.
but I'm pretty sure like the entirety of machine learning is in the fact that you are not coding every single thing that the machine is doing.
Yeah.
Rather, you're giving it data so it can learn, so it can do something that a human never could.
Yeah. Because I remember before the approach to artificial intelligence was they were trying to create physical neural networks, right?
Yeah.
And then they stopped because they realized.
Or I think they were trying to like program every scenario, but it's better to let the robot learn for itself.
Yeah.
Is that the difference between machine learning and deep learning?
I think deep learning is just like
What's deep learning?
like level deeper than
I think that's the
machine.
difference between a computer and artificial intelligence. A computer just does what you program it to. Like it executes it to. Or it executes whatever you program it to. But artificial intelligence.
Yeah, but neural networks, I think we're misunderstanding. Neural networks is not like it's programmed in a specific way. It's just like a concept. Like if you feed it something, it associates it with something else. That's what a neural network is.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if you say, like shoe, it would
Mhm.
associate shoe with Nike and Adidas or whatever, wherever the data is sourced from.
I know if that's correct or not.
Yeah, what you said before that made sense though. Like it's you associating it, or what did you say? But right before that,
What?
right before this Nike thing, you gave a definition for neural network.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You said a neural network. You said we're
It's
thinking
when they connect to each other, right?
something
Things
like that.
It's when concepts connect to each other. Well, I don't know about the
Well,
example.
inside the brain, I'm pretty sure neural network is defined as like neurons connecting to each other, and then like they can send electrical signals through their axons.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a neural network.
Yeah.
But
But AIs don't have neurons, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But they're
But-
connecting information
Yeah,
to other
yeah.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Okay.
whenever you typed in shoe, they get associated with Nike.
they
Is that not a neural network?
I don't
Yeah,
think
the
that's
AI.
how it exactly works. But
Yeah.
I
mean,
am
we're
gonna
probably-
try. I'm trying like. Well, I would like major in it probably. So
Yeah. Okay.
Hold this.
Okay, but all right. So then let's go back to our question. Like, is an AI? We're thinking about conscious, but then we're talking about can an AI have conscious ever? He was saying if you program your brain, like your brain into a computer or something, like does that computer become conscious, or can you even do that?
I think it's possible because the way we like, I don't know, unless you're religious or you don't believe in evolution, but like we all started as a single cell.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we built from evolution, natural selection, all the way here. So it's like, in part, something created our brain and our consciousness. So why can't, like, if we create AI, then that's like similar to how evolution created us.
Oh, that's
So,
true.
I don't know. I think it's.
You know, I
agree with-
had a theory about this as well, back in the day. Actually,
Okay.
this.
Oh yeah, but before you say, let me
Yeah,
ask
sure.
one question. So consciousness is a product of evolution.
Yeah.
Like whenever we went from
Single cell bacteria.
no,
Or
I'm
it
saying
wasn't back.
let's even take a more recent evolution. Like
Sure.
what?
Well, I don't know. Like, I think again, it's a lot to do with our arrogance, defining that we have consciousness, and that's unattainable by anything else.
Okay. Then let's not say that. Let's just take our definition of what consciousness is.
Okay.
So that like when does that become a thing? Like
Well,
when we're monkeys.
I don't know. Like,
Oh, okay.
No, I
but
feel like- I
we
feel
are.
like
It
animals
is
can
a
have-
product of evolution, though.
Okay.
in
I
I
some
feel like
aspects.
animals also have consciousness.
Yeah. Okay. But bacteria doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just saying there has to be a point, you know?
Like when maybe an organism develops a brain.
Yeah, I
Something
don't
like
know. Something like that.
Yeah. Maybe.
Okay, what were you gonna say? Crazy theory of yours?
Oh, this is dumb. It's fine.
Alright, we'll pass.
We'll pass.
Yeah. I don't know. Whenever we talk about consciousness, it kind of reminds me of the discussion we had about religion. You know, because we keep asking. So, like, if we're talking about our emotion theory, we hear something and it gets our heart pumping, and then our consciousness perceives that different. But like every time we ask why, like we have an explanation, but we never get to like the explanation.
Yeah, that's what
You
you're
know what-
saying as well. Do you believe in universal truth? Or is there a
Like,
law
what
that
is it?
dictates the
All right,
universe?
basically, in other words, is there a
Okay.
point where we understand everything? Like there's no more to be discovered.
I think by definition, no, because like how is there infinite? Like we will never get to that.
But that truth exists, obviously, because the world is working.
I don't know. I like read this somewhere. It's like, as our area of knowledge is expanded, our surface area of what we don't know is also like. So the more we know, the more we realize we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that just means there's an infinite thing to discover. Or I was the comparison that I drew it as.
Is there
It's
something?
like it's like an asymptote kind of. Like we get closer and closer, but it just there is a thing, like it
So like
exists.
at one point, if we know this, then like
But I don't think that we can ever get there. I don't think humans can ever get to that
Okay.
point. But I think it exists.
I
I
also
think
do
universal
believe-
law is just that's what it is.
Okay.
There. Okay.
So do
Because
you believe
okay, the
that?
example that I cited was Interstellar. Have you seen the movie?
Yeah.
You remember at the end, he's in this prison that's constructed by future humans, and it's a 5D world. Like he can walk forward, and it represents different points in time.
Yeah.
That's super technologically advanced. And once those humans get there, they obviously still have more to discover.
Yeah.
And also, if we're looking at the history of how gravity was, you know, how they came up with it.
How they came up.
Or whatever. First, Newton said that I'm pretty sure he said the mass of larger objects attracts the mass of smaller objects. It's a
Okay.
pull force.
Sure.
And Einstein, on the other hand, said
Inertia. Yeah.
what? Yeah. Einstein, on the other hand, said that it's an object with a large mass creates a push force in space-time. So space-time directly bends. and it's like a bowl kind of that draws in
Okay.
things. And he used the example of light bending in space,
Okay.
and he said that's what creates that. And the light bending in space is more evidence in Newton's theory. Newton's theory is based off pretty much nothing at all.
Well, Newton, like, he it's not really a theory. It's just what he observed, and
Right.
yeah.
But we observe something different in the future, and obviously gravity is not completely solved yet. I don't
Yeah, because
think
we
so.
observed light bending in the
We
future.
observed light
which is
bending, and then-
opposed to the whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it, apple falling.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But, and then in that case, in 500 years, there's going to be another guy that discovers something about gravity that we didn't know before, and that thing is going to change, and it's just
Yeah.
going to keep on going. But
But-
gravity definitely exists, and there's definitely a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But will we ever get to that reason? That's what we were talking about on the last episode.
Okay, what you asked me, what do I believe? What I was gonna say is what you said was interesting about when we discover more, the amount of uncertainty also increases. But then, is there something behind that uncertainty, or does it just happen? So that's kind of like the two viewpoints that are, I guess, the two possible viewpoints. Either there's something behind that, or there's nothing behind that. But if there's nothing behind that, what does that even mean? It just exists? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't really understand what.
Okay. So you're saying when we understand more things also become uncertain.
Or the more we realize we have to learn. Because, once Einstein, whatever, his special theory of relativity,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, no, that's not the end goal. That discovers a whole new branch of research.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So, but then those things also come from something, right? You know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
things we don't know about. But then when does it end? Does it, or...
I don't think it ends,
But wouldn't it have to end? Doesn't everything have to come from something, Or does it just exist? I don't know.
What I called it on the last episode, I said is the end of infinity.
Yeah, what's beyond infinity?
That's what it is. That's just the end. The
Yeah.
end of infinity.
Yeah.
Infinity is an infinite thing. It just keeps on going. So when it ends, that's what truth. That's truth.
So, by definition, you can't get there then. Because
Yeah,
it's
that's
infinite.
what I think. I don't
Yeah.
think humans could ever get there. It's just-
What created the universe?
It's unexplainable.
Yeah.
Alright, I thought it was a Big Bang.
Okay, but then you can just, that's what I'm saying.
I
You
think
can-
you
Okay,
can
what
keep
is the
playing the
Big Bang?
game.
Where did the Big Bang come from?
Yeah.
There was nothing, and then how is there something?
No.
there was nothing, and then there was quarks.
The theory is that, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, it was the universe was just all energy, and
Yeah.
then there's in Einstein's equations there's a point where energy can exhibit gravity as well, and then or it's called so energy, mass attracts each other, energy repulses each other, repels each other in a certain instance, and then there's a certain instance where it gathered up and then the Big Bang happened. That's the theory with the Big Bang.
Yeah, so we can explain why those things got closer together. But then where did those things even come
Oh,
from?
we
Where-
can't
where did-
explain
what?
the entire theory behind that is it was always there, so infinite amount of time, and there was just this random moment where everything
Yeah,
lined up.
that random moment
Yeah.
is what I'm saying.
It's unexplainable. That's what I was saying.
No, that's just by mathematical principles, I believe. If you have 100 die and you roll them for an infinite amount of time, you will eventually get one instance where you get all sixes, even though that's statistically improbable. That's just what happened.
Yeah, okay.
But there's still. Okay, wait. What are you trying to say?
So yeah, so it's just randomness. So it's just randomness that created the universe.
That's
Yeah, but okay, my definition, I think that randomness is just things that humans can't perceive. For example, if you're flipping a coin,
okay.
you can't guess it right 100 out of 100 times.
Mhm.
But if you had awareness on, how the exact force that you're pushing and the pressure of the air on the coin,
Yeah.
you could predict it 100 out of 100 times.
Yeah.
There's no randomness to that. It's just things that we can't perceive. So maybe the Big Bang is the same way.
Oh, there's a reason it happened.
Yeah, but we don't know.
I don't know. That's why I was saying there's two opposing viewpoints. That this directly relates to the argument about religion, right? There's one side of people who argue that there's no meaning to anything. They're on the you can correlate that with the randomness.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying whatever happens doesn't mean anything. Like there's no meaning to anything. The other side are saying everything you do has meaning because it's for God or truth or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I kind of want to go back to your point, like flipping a coin. So if you know the force on it, the wind pressure, everything, then you're saying we can predict it each time. Okay, so like, do you think if you go by that reasoning, then it's like you can predict everything happening, right? So like if you know every single particle's location, every single particle's like speed, then you can predict everything.
Yeah.
So you're saying everything's predetermined if you're going by that logic. Because if you can predict everything, then like you can predict everything.
There's a certain branch of Christians that believe that everything is
everything's
predetermined. It's like a Dutch branch. I forgot what.
Okay,
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Too.
For Hindus, it says that everything is predetermined, yet everything is free will at the same time. It's like two parallel trains that are going at each other, or going directly, and they take the same curves and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's what I believe by default.
Yeah.
So, okay.
That I know that too as well. That's what I believe too. But
I don't know. Like, I don't think there's ever a point where that even becomes a question if we can do it as humans, because we can't know every single particle.
Yeah.
So like, it's fun to think about, but like.
But I'm saying that's what randomness is. It's just things that we don't know, or things that we can't perceive.
Okay.
But it exists, so it's not random.
so you're arguing like, is it even productive to think about? I don't know what's beyond everything. I guess.
Kinda.
Okay.
I guess.
I mean, I guess not, but it's still.
What?
It's what? Like it's not productive to think about it.
Yeah.
Like that's probably.
But then
true.
why do people believe in religion, or why do people like religion so much, or believe in religion so much? You know.
I think we can, for the sake of like simplicity, we can define randomness, because like what I was talking about earlier, we can't know every single particle and everything, so we can define that as randomness.
Sure, but the fact that, those particles existed, it's just a thing. It's for sure. It happened that
Mhm.
way.
Okay, so the reason why, like, you're kind of going into entropy, and then entropy is like how many configurations there are. So like, for example, if you have 10 coins and they all land heads, there's only one configuration where they're all heads. But for 5 tails and 5 heads, there are so many configurations. Like the first one could be a head, the second one head.
Yeah.
So there are so many different instances, or it could be 5 tails and 5 heads. But if we go into like even more, like if we start looking even more particulate, like there's no randomness at all, then I think that's where our logic around that becomes like just not applicable. Like everything, like with pressure, with gases, how we deal with them, we deal in averages and like randomness. So we're not describing, like, to describe the area or to describe temperature in the air, we're not describing each particular air molecule speed. We're giving the average speed, not like we can't look at each specific particle, or else like there's no room for doing all that.
Yeah, or you're saying we account for randomness in all our calculations.
Yeah, we're moving, like, the more smaller we get, it's better to like look at things from an average. Like, I think that's what, you don't know who Boltzmann is, but that's what he did.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't. Can you explain that in a different way? I don't know how to wrap my head around it.
Because it's so, like, okay, so temperature is defined by the average kinetic energy of molecules. It's directly correlated with, or proportional to that. So when, like, essentially calculating for temperature, like, before, or with Newton's style of physics, what they did is, like, look at each individual particle and then see how fast it's moving and then whatever. But now we're going towards more just averages, because we can't look at it from each particular.
Average how? Like the average
like kinetic
particle
energy.
movement?
Yeah.
Oh, kinetic energy.
And then we just draw a distribution curve of the probabilities of a single object being, or a single molecule being a specific speed.
So average how? They just measure like 100 different things, and they just say this is, or if it lands in this range, then this is what it's going to be.
Well, like I think they work backwards. It's like, oh, they know the temperature of the air, and then they can work backwards to like specific like constants. And
But
stuff.
he's saying it's more useful for us to get that general picture rather than, each particle, right?
Yeah, it's like absolutely useless because in this room there are so many particles. We can't look at each one of them. We have to look at the bigger picture. And if we look at the bigger picture, we have to talk about randomness in that.
So you're saying that's more useful on the basis of scientific discovery,
Sure.
or just any advancement in general, because it's useless to consider the possibility of everything.
Yeah, I agree.
I also agree with that as well. I'm just saying that everything does exist, though.
For
Like,
a reason.
there is a constant.
Okay, so that's the question I asked. Like, why do we want to think about that even in the first place? Because if you're looking at religion, people do want to understand that. Like, people do want to think that there is a reason behind everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's saying it's not productive to think about.
Yeah, no, and you're saying religion exists precisely because we thought about those things.
Yeah.
I think religion is a way to like comfort that not looking at everything but entrusting that everything in something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. You're entrusting everything in something else.
Yeah.
Or you're existing that universal constant or that truth or whatever you want to
You're
call it.
like, pardoning that not as your responsibility but someone else or something else.
But then it does exist. Like, by that argument, it does exist.
Like, okay, I don't know why we're still on this topic because like, okay, yeah, I agree, and I think everyone would agree that there's a certain point that everything is known, but there's no point of worrying about that because like we're never getting there.
Okay, but here's the argument. Like, the whole argument in religion is we're part of that. Like, we're directly connected to that. God, like, created each one of us.
Okay.
So then the argument is we should understand that connection. Because
I think, okay, in our religion, and like Buddhism and a lot of like Eastern religions, the idea behind that is the state of enlightenment or nirvana or moksha or whatever you want to call it. That's the stage where we just understand everything.
I think
Or
it's the
it's
opposite,
where you're
right?
reunited with God, right?
I thought it was like where you give up all your control, so that's why, right? I think that's the Buddhist, like where you give up all your control over life, and you reconnect with something greater.
yeah,
but that's something greater.
It's not that you
It's the
know
end of
everything.
infinity. That it's not that you know everything, but it's you understand universal truth.
I thought it was that you understand that of its existence, but you are placed in that you will never understand. That's
it's
it.
not like you have to understand everything to get there. It's like once you get there, you become with him. So then you
Oh,
understand
okay.
everything.
Yeah,
So-
that's a better way than I put it.
Yeah. So I don't know, because on one hand you could say it's unproductive to think about this imaginary boundary where everything is understood.
Mm-hmm.
But then the whole argument of religious people is that boundary is we have a direct connection with it. Like, we're connected to that. Whatever. Everything is connected to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it is all energy.
Uh,
Everything is energy. Everything
well,
is
like
energy.
I think that's like I don't know if this is actually true, but I think I read it somewhere that like the more particulate we get, like the smaller we get, it's just described by energy. So like we think proton has mass, but at its simplest core, mass is energy. Like,
yeah.
That's what
I
Einstein
understand
E
that.
equals MC squared. So
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, I guess everything is energy.
Everything is connected to that unknown boundary.
See, why are you
so-
guys looking at me like I was just saying something out of pocket?
I
It made sense.
I don't know. It's just kind of random. Yeah. Okay. Well, what I'm saying is, so there's people who think, so you're saying it's again. I just said this. You're saying it's unproductive to understand anything, but then some people think that boundary is what made us. So we're directly connected to it, and it is important to understand everything. So I guess at that point, where we can continue this conversation is we're both religious, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we would argue that it is important to understand that connection. But like, where do you stand on that? Like,
Well, like, okay. So I identify as Christian,
Uh-huh.
and then like I pray, so I guess I am, or I don't know, but like this is my viewpoint on whatever, like everything. I think if there is someone or something out there that's like greater, we would never be able to know of it.
Okay, but it created you, or do you
Sure.
dispute that fact?
Sure.
Okay, it created you, and
Like whether or not it's just randomness in the Big Bang, all this energy lining up so that Newton's equations makes it repel.
I'm
or
saying
if it was someone driving that, I'm saying that that is not possible to be known.
okay. I'm saying, in your words, there's that boundary where we know everything. Okay,
Okay.
whatever that is, technically created you, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so then, I guess, do you think you have a connection with that, or it just created you and now you're your own thing? Because that's what
No, that's a
So,
good question.
that's what deists believe. Deism.
Okay.
Thomas Jefferson was actually a deist.
Yeah,
Fun fact.
I read.
Yeah.
Actually, today,
So
it's
they
right now, I
believe
read.
that
He
they
bel-
have no, although they were
something
Created. They were
something
created, but they had
created-
no purpose.
something created everything, but then at that point
There's no purpose.
it doesn't oversee it. Like something created everything,
Oh, okay.
but then you just do whatever, like you just do whatever you want, I guess.
Yeah, I think maybe I am a deist.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
Thomas
no.
Jefferson was a great man. I
Was
mean,
he,
in
though?
terms of his accomplishments, you know?
Economic output. No.
he invented a lot.
Did he?
He actually invented the spinning chair, the wheelchair that.
Jefferson, like the president of the United
Yep.
States.
He did it while he was writing the Declaration of Independence.
Oh.
That's his founding
Oh,
spirit.
nice.
That's the founding spirit. You know, the founding fathers.
Mhm.
They're
Maybe,
innovators.
maybe him writing the Constitution was better.
Constitution or spinning chair. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean the thing with energy, or we're saying, so okay, this is what I was gonna bring up.
Yeah.
There is a sect of religious people. I can think of Hindus in particular, but there's a sect of just generally religious people across everything that they think that God is just the collective experience of everything living ever. And that's where subconscious comes from. Because we're we're just characteristically, we're scared of dark.
Mhm.
The dark, or we're scared of heights or something like that.
Sure.
And they're saying that we're tapping into the subconscious. Because we don't know what the subconscious is in scientific terms. Or there's a definition assigned to it. But it doesn't fully explain everything. And the argument is that we can tap into the subconscious or the collective experience of everything ever, but we have no, or I guess we can't actively do it, or we're just put in a state where we can't actively do it. And people often draw dreams as an example, because there's just some things that happen there that you just can't, you have no idea.
Okay,
It
but
makes no
it,
sense
But
at
like,
all.
okay, so dreams, things that happen that make seemingly no sense, like that can probably be traced back to maybe a memory you had or experience you had.
yeah,
It's
I feel like all
informed
my
by it.
dreams.
Like yeah,
get-
for me personally, it's like informed by like things I've had.
Even if I don't understand it.
Yeah, but okay, what if the top layer of the subconscious is your experience, the experience that you've had?
Mm-hmm.
Subconscious, like we can't.
Okay, yeah, the top layer of the subconscious, it's our experience, and then we draw from that subconscious, just in general, in the way that we speak or the habits that we do.
Okay.
And then the deeper it goes, it's the deeper experiences you have, and then at a certain point, it just goes into somebody else's experiences.
Is that what you believe, or is that
I think I believe that.
okay?
Well, but
I think collective unconscious is a thing.
oh, like all our consciousnesses are connected.
Yeah, somehow. Like
But
through
we're not
energy,
connected to a
or through
dog.
frequencies or something.
But we're not.
I feel like
connected
that's
to-
like the deepest level.
He's
I
saying
think-
we're not connected to a dog.
Yeah, but I mean, how do we know if a dog has thoughts or not?
How do we not know? Like.
But how do we have?
How
We don't know.
How do I know you have thoughts?
Yeah, okay, I was actually
What if
thinking
you're
about-
all his thoughts and I'm the only one here?
No, I am. I think, therefore, I am. Rene Descartes.
That's a thing as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, I saw this too. I don't know if this is gonna prop a longer discussion, but what if that thing that created everything is just some alien that created us all, like a
Okay,
simulation.
This is dumb.
What?
A simulation?
Yeah.
That's a theory because or the thing that he said about I think therefore I am. That's an actual or that's a thing. That's a simulation thing.
What?
It's like
That's
it's a
a-
test for you, and nobody else exists.
Oh yeah. No, but I'm saying, what if some alien, bro, like just created this entire universe? Just he's having.
How
fun.
can we prove? Like the thing is, I don't think. Okay, maybe it's good for fun discussion.
Yeah.
But it's not meaningful to like whether or not that's true or not, or try to undiscover or discover if it's true or not.
Yeah, but that's the same argument with God. I'm saying in place of that God, or in place of God, what if it's just an alien that created everything and not God?
What if
I
it
don't
was
know,
like
where
a human civilization more advanced than us?
And
Like the
they
interstellar
created
world, like the
everything.
interstellar world.
Exactly.
And they created everything.
Yeah, but then who created them?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah. Oh, that's
It
true.
all
that's
it has
true,
to
that's
come
true.
to something.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
true. That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Yeah,
All
but okay, and so but the thing that I was saying,
Just cut that part out.
I'm leaving it in, bro. I'm going in. Okay, you want to know what the Vedas are? Did he explain it?
Yeah.
or no? Yeah. So you don't know what the Vedas say about reincarnation?
No.
Okay.
What was that?
What?
Did you say you don't know what they?
I said you want to know.
I thought you said, "Do you know?"
Yeah, no, I said I thought you said
yeah,
you,
of
don't-
course,
you don't
no,
know.
I'm
or
not-
something.
Did I say
Alright,
you don't?
alright,
Yeah,
just-
okay,
alright.
well, I don't know what
Okay,
I
yeah,
said.
please do.
But okay, so you know how you're saying energy is like mass. When you break down mass, it becomes energy.
The more particulate you
break
look
down
at
mass, it becomes
yeah,
energy.
sure.
So okay, if for example me, you, and Sean were standing in an elevator,
Okay.
the mass of the elevator would weigh the same, the elevator overall, but it's concentrated at different points. Like Sean weighs 130 pounds or whatever. I weigh 160. You probably weigh like 160, 50, whatever.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just generalizing. I'm just
Okay,
saying.
yeah.
But the mass is concentrated at different points. Similarly, if you freeze water,
Yeah.
or if you freeze a part, or if you take an ice drop and throw it into water, the entire thing weighs the same, but the mass is concentrated at the ice.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I don't know what your point is.
Yeah. What you're
Okay.
saying, we're following.
Yeah. So what it's just two examples I gave to connect this, but it's saying that, or the Vedas say that energy is like that, and when it concentrates into a specific point, it
Mhm.
makes life. But then that energy dissipates, and then it goes and it concentrates again at a different point, and that's reincarnation. And the entire
Oh.
universe is like that. It's just made of energy, and that energy, it's all there. It all exists,
Yeah.
but it concentrates at different points as time passes by.
And then that's what.
Reincarnation.
Yeah.
is.
Oh, that's like conservation of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all the energy is already there. It's
Yeah.
just it's getting in different forms.
So I don't know. I guess what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm not Hindu, so I don't know if I believe that. Or
Yeah.
not.
And I mean, it's definitely something interesting to think about. And we're talking about how the universe is just energy.
You told me this before, honestly, but I never heard the story before you said, or not story, but I never heard
The
that.
way that I said it.
Yeah, I never. Not even that. I never heard about this until you said it. I thought
He's a
it
better Hindu than you are.
No,
It's
it's just
more
a lot
devout.
of Quora forums.
yeah, but no, I just believed in reincarnation. I didn't really look into the science and the Vedas. Yeah,
It's yeah. I mean, again, it is interesting to think about.
yeah, it's definitely interesting.
But then at one point, I guess does that mean that you just experience everything? Or is that experience is that God, or like all the energy, all the like how we're all connected?
I don't know.
Oh.
Like, there's like two different ways that like people will view this. It's like one, the people are religious, and the answer will be a resounding yes. And then the other one's like, I don't know. I don't think.
Yeah, and there's also people who say I don't know, like we don't know, and we shouldn't try to answer the question with a yes or a no.
Oh, I do think like if you go in that term of like, in those terms of thinking, and then you keep going to the Vedas and then like deriving scientific truth out of that, then like it's like somewhat ironic that you're using a computer that is founded on principles of like Einstein's theories that directly contradict those Vedas scientific principles.
Do they?
They probably do. Like
How so? I feel like a lot of the stuff doesn't. I feel
I
like
don't know,
if only it helps or it
like,
just
I don't know.
aids.
Like there are like people who like speak out about science and all that, and then they're doing it through their phones that have been gifted to them by science. So
Okay.
it's like,
Yeah, but I feel like
That's
the
like
science has
the
nothing to
irony.
do with it. For example, the speed of light thing.
Okay, not that. Okay, that's unrelated. I think the better point is just that there's people who are directly as far as I know, there's people who contradict science, but I would say they're not it's not based on their knowledge of any religious text. They're just contradicting science because that's who they are.
Yeah, that's true.
And then maybe they're using that to back it up. But I don't know of any religious text that contradicts science. You know what
You
I'm
don't
saying?
Yeah, I
think
mean,
so?
a lot of people say that
Like,
evolution
okay,
contradicts
so
science,
in
but I don't
the
think
Bible-
so either.
Uh-huh.
In the Bible, there like, Earth 7 days. Like
Oh, they said Earth was created in 7 days.
The Earth was
Yeah.
created in 7 days, but also how do we determine what 7 days is?
no, yeah, that's what like a lot of Christians say, and what I believe is that the 7 days are ambiguous and like
Okay,
one
yeah,
day was
'cause-
defined as like billions of years or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure, because
perhaps.
we have the thing with 1 day in God's life is like
But then
It's-
like
it's so
there are
many
like,
years
other
in our
stories of
life.
like or people being brought back to life, which like does contradict science.
Mm-hmm. Or contradicts science as we know it now. This goes back to that thing of like people will say what we can't understand is science, but that's the same thing as saying an AI singularity could exist. We don't have it yet. The same way, maybe in the future, we invent something that can bring people back to life. So like it's possible. It's just
Oh yeah, we just don't know.
yeah.
and we're discussing as well if there was an advanced ancient civilization, if you remember that.
Okay, I think we should end it here.
I know, but it's also okay. I guess. it's
Yeah,
not
we
that
should end it
relevant
here.
to
But
this
yeah,
discussion.
I guess that's just my point in general. Or not in general, but my point pertaining to that is that like what do you define as unscientific? Like what we think of as unscientific could in the future very
But,
well
okay,
be created by
like
science.
Moses parting the Red Sea, like maybe
I
in
don't
the
know,
future.
it's-
I don't know.
If we're
Maybe
considering
there's
considering
science.
the true extent of infinite innovation,
Okay.
then where does that end? I would say then parting a sea could very well be in the infinite range of innovation.
Maybe, but like we have to consider the time period as well. Like,
Okay, that's why I brought up the advanced civilization thing. The thing that I was going to say about that, or I only know this from the Indians' perspective, because that's what
Okay.
I've looked into the most. But in the Vedas, obviously, the speed of light is there. And the Vedas were...
but it's like 12% inaccurate.
It's
not
it's down to a
12%
units
accurate.
digit.
Huh?
It's down to a units digit.
What do you mean units digit?
in miles per hour or meters per second? Meters per
something
second.
like that.
It's down. It's accurate to that. point.
I just think like for that, like coincidences will always arise. Like, okay, for example, if you have the pyramids, and I think there's like something
did you hear
about
the speed of light thing?
no, but I think it's like the coordinates of the pyramids have
Yeah,
some
it's that.
mathematical whatever.
It's not. It's the coordinates of the pyramids are the exact same as the speed of light.
Is it? Okay. Like if you will always find coincidences if you're looking for them. It's like hindsight like it's 2020. Like if you do something and then you're like, "Oh, you can easily say that, oh, I did this for this and that."
Yeah, but it's
even
not just that. There's a lot of other stuff as well. Like, for example,
Oh, it talks about light passing through a prism.
does it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that
Yeah.
one. But there's also in one of the stories, one guy describes to another guy, he gets divine vision to observe this battlefield or this war that's going on. And he describes things that he sees. And he described, like, the Milky Way. And he's saying that there's a center. And he was and all that stuff. He's saying there was a mountain in the center where God was. And when they did the calculation in modern time, that it's the exact center of the Milky Way. And then also in that same thing, he says, what does the world look like? And you draw a map of the world. And he said something, it's like, it's the exact description. Some guy drew it in like 1400 AD.
Okay.
And before, we mapped out everything. And he said something about a rabbit chasing after something. And I can try to find the drawing, but if you looked at the drawing, it looks exactly like our world map today.
Mm-hmm.
Like identical.
Yeah.
And then the point is that during that time
It is
we had
advanced
no
technology. That's
we
what I
had no
think.
technology to create
Or
something.
you're saying consider the time period of that because
Okay.
Moses parting the Red Sea is something beyond our perception.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we know that they didn't have or they weren't doing better?
How do
than we
you
are
know
right now?
that's like not a coincidence? Because like,
Because there's too many of them.
but
There's a
if
lot
you're
in a
looking
lot of
at
religious sects,
such
it's not
a,
just the Hindu.
if you're
the Hindu
looking at
perspective.
such a large period of time, and like if you consider how much events happen that we don't consider at all as like abnormal, then obviously there are some instances that there would be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here, this
coincidence.
is the thing. Look at this. He said it's a rabbit chasing a leaf, and if you flip that around,
Okay.
that's literally our. Like I don't know what else to say. That's literally the thing.
The Milky Way thing is also interesting.
Okay, so but the thing is, I showed that map of the world, and I was just saying that there's a lot of cool.
Oh wait, I was going on to my point. So there's this website. It's generated like every combination of 1,000 like of the alphabet for 1,000 words or something. So if you search up, it's kind of creepy. It's like Yoon Jae Chang was born in whatever date, and then like he moved to St. Louis when he was 12 years old. You'll find a text that's already been generated of that.
What do you mean a text that's already like
Like
a
they've
text that
they've
exists?
generated every single combination. So the universal truth could exist, or does exist on that website. We just don't know it. So are we attributing that coincidence of the website having all the combinations of the words correctly?
What do you mean combinations of the words?
Like they just have every single combination of 1,000 words known to man. So like, if you search up like AB repeating to 1,000 whatever, then that already exists. And then if you search up Shyam Mariappan goes to MICS, that already exists.
On that website.
Yeah,
Oh.
because they just
Oh,
made
oh.
every
So he's saying
coincidence possible.
So he's just saying there's all like there's just all these things are just coincidences basically.
Yeah, like you can like that's the parallel I'm trying to make. Like, yeah, okay.
But can we
rabbit.
compare those texts to a corpus of every combination of 1,000 words? I feel like every combination of 1,000 words is way longer than the Bible, for example.
Yeah, but I don't think there's an unreasonable amount of coincidences in the Bible that like suggests further like inquiry.
Okay. But then wouldn't that logic mean there's also a bunch of wrong things in the Bible then?
Yeah, there is a bunch of
Okay.
like. Are you saying that there are like no wrong things? Actually, I don't know. Like, I can't really like talk about the Vedas. Like,
I
if
feel
it's
like
your religious text, it's not mine.
I feel like everyone
say
can
anything.
make an argument for why it is correct, you know? Or like
And even the Bible, like I went to a Catholic middle school.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I could, like, whatever, go back and forth with you on this, but even there's a lot of stuff in our religious texts where people are just saying now that it's meant to be taken as a lesson. It's not meant to be taken literally. Like
Yeah.
When it says Adam lived for 1,000 years, like
It's not he actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
yeah. So I feel like most of the stuff in the Bible could be attributed to that.
yeah,
Like,
but
most
that's
of the
what I'm
things where
saying.
you say that
Like everyone will
it-
always come up with a reason to defend like their thing. Like and it's just cuz it's so open to interpretation.
Sure.
Is that what you're saying? Like they're just it's so open to interpretation that
Yeah.
you know that's almost equivalent to the 1,000 words, every combination of 1,000
Sure.
words. Okay. That makes sense to me. Cool.
All right,
And
cool.
and
Well,
then-
okay, but what's the big takeaway then? Because I feel like we just we never
What
or
do
we never
we start
settled
from?
on anything.
That's
like
fine. That's
cognition.
fine. Our take what?
We
never
started
never
from
settled
cognition.
on anything.
So
Oh,
what?
like we didn't settle on.
He said he's a deist.
No, I'm not. No shorts.
Okay. I guess what's our conclusion on consciousness then?
What?
It's just
Well, like
We-
we
useless
have
to think
differing
about.
perspectives. I
different
don't think we
perspectives.
should. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Alright, cool.
All right, nice. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate you.
It's great having you on.